So there's been some changes in the Ben Simmons situation, in the saga, since we last left you. The last time we spoke about Ben Simmons, they were in a peace treaty, essentially. Ben was being allowed to seek treatment to get himself where he was emotionally, spiritually ready, mentally ready to play the game of basketball. And in the meantime, Sixers were going to give him some space, and they were not going to fine him. That was short-lived. That was short-lived. So now it appears that Philly is back to the fining Ben Simmons philosophy. Over $300,000 each game goes into an escrow account. And Ben Simmons may or may not see that money. And the reason why that they are doing that, why they've changed stances, they want essentially Ben to give them a therapy notes. Like, show us what you're talking about in these meetings. How often are you going? Who's your therapist? How fast do you think you're going to be court ready, right? And Ben's like, listen, I don't know if I trust you with all that information. You guys haven't done me very well. You haven't done me any favors. You've continued to bring my value down. And me giving you access to my mental HIPAA information is not something I'm really, really wanting to do. So that's where we're at in the Sixers-Ben Simmons standoff. And it appears that this is going to last forever. Like, that is something that multiple Sixers beat writers are saying. This is an indefinite standoff. This is a George Bush Sr. Cold War level thing. I don't even know if that's historically correct, but I think it is. Things are so far off the rails in Philly that it's moving to the point of being like, are they going to ruin Ben Simmons' career? And all of this, of course, relies and revolves around Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey has this stubborn belief that Ben Simmons is an asset that is worth something, It's like I was talking about this earlier, if you buy a stock at $100 a share, and then something comes out, like, I don't know, maybe like a gas stock, right? And then there's a gas leak that they are responsible for, and they're probably going to be culpable for lawsuits and damages and probably deaths, et cetera, et cetera. Like, the stock's probably going to go down. And if you say, well, I'm not going to sell this stock until it's $100 or more per share, the facts on the ground have changed, right? And that stock is now, for the foreseeable future, way less valuable than it was when you bought it. And that's what's going on with Ben Simmons right now. We have seen some things. Game 4, 5, 6, and 7 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. And then the whole offseason. Like, this stock has plummeted for a reason. So sorry, Daryl Morey, you're not going to get the value that you think in your mind Ben Simmons should give you back. You're not getting those $100 per share. Probably getting somewhere close to like $18 a share for Ben Simmons. And somehow, I don't know why, Daryl Morey thinks he's got leverage. Because this isn't really a stock, actually, because assets have value in their own right. Like, Ben Simmons is more of like a call option. Like, eventually his value will expire, right? He will become valueless to the Sixers organization 4 years from now. Little finance lesson here on a Monday afternoon. So Ben has told the Sixers he will never play in Philly again. And now the only thing that they can hope and pray for is that something goes so badly for another team that they have to try to pull some Houdini-like magic, and Ben Simmons is a part of that optical strategy to make it look like the team isn't as bad off as they actually are. Enter the Boston Celtics. So, yes, that is what's going on. Boston has reached out asking about Ben because they have had a terrible start to the season, and they want some defense. They are 24th in the league in defense still. They are really bad. And I don't know why Ime Udoka thought that roster was going to get them at least in the middle of the pack, but it's not. Like, Dennis Schroeder's not interested in playing defense. Marcus Smart's really the only one that wants to. and Robert Williams. And it appears that those are the two trade chips that Boston will trade for Ben Simmons. But the problem is that Daryl Morey is delusional. He thinks that Ben Simmons is worth, wait for it, Jaylen Brown. He thinks that Ben Simmons is the equivalent of Jaylen Brown. And some picks. Let me just tell you this. They need to pay for Jaylen Brown. They need to be the one giving the picks for Jaylen Brown. I know Jaylen Brown is injured, but we are talking about Ben Simmons. I don't even know if Ben Simmons is an operable machinery anymore. Like, I don't know really if it's got all the plugs and the hardware, whether the software, obviously the software needs updating. That's being updated right now. The internal Ben Simmons software is currently being worked on. They've had some malware inside. That's called the Philadelphia fan base. This is all off the cuff, just delightful. So, yes, Daryl thinks he can get Jaylen Brown for Ben Simmons. Here is the truth, Daryl. Nobody wants Ben Simmons. Not even the Minnesota Timberwolves want Ben Simmons anymore. That's a sad state of affairs. It has become obvious to me that there are two possible reasons for this. Either Daryl Morey is missing some wiring in his head because he thinks this isn't setting into his brain yet. Like, let this sink in, Daryl Morey. Your entire crew have destroyed the asset that you are trying to trade. And you continue to make the situation more and more toxic. So you not understanding the situation that you're in is a problem. Or, which is also likely, you don't care about Ben Simmons and you're willing to wait this thing out just because fuck him. Just because, you know what, I can. I have a lot of money and a lot of power. And who does this fucking kid think he is? Sitting out, holding out, not playing basketball, not practicing, being on his phone. Like, fuck this soft-ass little Australian kid coming from NBA genealogy. Fuck him, right? Because you know why? I'm Daryl Morey, that's why. That is absolutely wild. That is something I don't understand at all. What is a realistic trade for Ben Simmons? Probably Marcus Smart. What? Probably Robert Williams. Oh, yes. Maybe Peyton Pritchard. A couple of draft picks. Like, I think you could reasonably make that trade if you're Boston, and you could reasonably understand that trade if you're Philly. I'm not sure how much that makes either team better. Seth Curry is shooting all-time high levels right now. Furkman Korkmaz, pretty sure that's how you say it. Furkman Korkmaz shooting his best career numbers. Tyrese Maxey balling. Like, the truth is they don't need Ben Simmons. They are playing really well without him. The shooting is lights out without him. But it does solve the problem of, you got to purge assets that you're no longer needing. You go through, you're moving into your house, you're looking through what you got, and you're like, I'm not using this. This has got to go. But let me just say this. Here's the problem, Celtics fans. If you make that trade, I tell you what, if the Celtics make that trade for Ben Simmons, they are in for a rude awakening. Because the truth is, there's not much bright spots on the Boston Celtics team right now. But there are what we'll call it an irrational love for Marcus Smart in the Boston Celtics fan base. There is an irrational love for Robert Williams within the Celtics fan base. So if you legitimately trade your most valued, coveted, desirable pieces to the fan base, the people you're beholden to in terms of selling tickets and watching games and shit, and you trade him for an asset that you don't even know whether the software or the hardware or the fucking plug that goes into the wall is with him? Like, I don't even know if Ben Simmons turns on right now. That would be just a remarkable turn of events. Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it works out for you.